So Steam has finally got this autumn sale, which is kind of like a Black Friday-ish thing, I guess you could say. And yeah, they have this sale that has these games in such a low price, like Fallout 4, for example, was like I think for $9 or $10, which is actually pretty good for a game that decent in quality. But anyway, one of the game that I picked up today was Fatal Bullet, SAO Fatal Bullet, and this game has actually been on my radar ever since last year when it came out. I think it was around February somehow. But yeah, anyway, if you guys don't know what SAO is, it's this anime series which I remember absolutely binge watching 2 years ago back in 2017 on Netflix. Yeah, I remember I got recommended this anime by a friend of mine. A good friend of mine told me, "Hey, I should watch this anime." And I said, "Sure, why not?" I watched it. I completely loved this anime. I watched both seasons. And I think the second season was a little bit like okay. And the second season is actually based on this game by coincidence. And yeah, I was always wanting to have more content of SAO, so I decided to purchase a novel. The novel, I liked it. It was okay, even though I think it was a pretty like long novel with kind of a cliffhanger ending, which is I opened more room for, I guess you could say, more novels that I didn't really buy. So yeah. Anyway, I was just always just left here saying, should I buy this game? Because back then it was $60, and I was like, for a game like this, it didn't really look like a $60 game. It looked more for like a 40, 30-ish dollar game in my opinion. So yeah, anyway, Steam finally, what I was saying with the autumn sale, lowered it down to $10, and I said, sure, why not grab it when I still can. So I grabbed a copy of it, and I remember seeing reviews of like IGN giving it a 5.9 and seeing GameSpot give it a 2.5 out of 5, which is actually pretty surprising. I was like, how can a game like this be that bad? And I decided to, just head over Steam, and I saw there was flooded with very positive reviews about this game. And I was like, alright. And I saw people played it over 500 and something hours, and I was like, is this game really that addicting? Because I thought I looked pretty okay. It looked pretty decent in my opinion. So I decided to, you know what, just take the advice for once from the fanboys and fangirls of this series. Because I remember I was a fanboy of this series back then. I said, hey, why not just play this game? And I've played for a few hours about this game, and I think it's pretty okay. It's not necessarily that good as people say in Steam it is, and it's not that bad as people say, like in IGN or critics out there say. I think it's really, I guess you could say, it's not mixed really. It does have its pros, and it does have its cons, and it does have its share of fair of pros. But yeah, I'm kind of in between of that. But yeah, I have a list of pros and cons, so I'm gonna be saying the pros first. Pros: definitely the companions in this game. The AI is actually pretty helpful when you're encountering boss fights. Well, not boss fights, but like enemies whatsoever. They're pretty helpful. They're not necessarily that dull. Probably the one time which I felt it was like, I guess, kind of stuck, which like I was fighting this like higher level kind of boss, I guess you could say. But maybe they didn't do anything that part, but then like a few seconds later they realized and they just like finally helped me out. But yeah, a thing that I like about this game is like the humor. It's really very anime-ish, I guess you could say. It really does run you like you're watching the series. But yeah, as I was saying, the humor is really funny. It's really laughable and all. It does have like these really cherished characters, which I really like. Which I remember I cherish all these characters from the game. And anyway, we have the character customization, which I actually pretty like. It's not necessarily that like wowing, but I like that it has like these features, like you could like change the color from like different eyes and all that stuff. It's not necessarily that in depth, but at least it has some really cool features that I really liked. Let's go now into the cons. The cons about this game: it has actually more cons than the pros. So I'm not saying this game is bad. I'm just saying that's all I was saying. I'm kind of in between of it. So yeah, the first con that I have is I think the first few hours of this game can be pretty slow and boring. Not gonna lie. Like the first hour was a lot of dialogue, and then like the second hour was kind of like a lot of dialogue too, which I thought was kind of pointless because there was like this scene where they're like introducing the characters, but I'm like, I already know these characters, like I'm just gonna skip along about this because this game is mostly for like the fans, like the hardcore fans of this anime series. I can definitely see this because Bandai Namco has a reputation of making a lot of anime games, and they also have a reputation of making, Dark Souls and all that stuff, which is actually pretty good. As I was saying, it's pretty boring. It kind of has like its tedious dialogue sometimes, and it actually takes way too long to actually get into a quest. I mean, yeah, the first few quests you get from the game is literally talk to this person, talk to that person. The game kind of feels like it holds your hand too much, and what I mean with that is that there's like the auto, like I guess you could say, what's it called, this thing, like the auto aim thing. Like it can be a little bit way too much. Like they could have these tutorial things, like it's so much for you, and they tell you, oh, you can do this, you have to stats and this and that and that. And I think from like a person like me who plays, who has played a lot of the game before, and like MMORPGs and RPGs before, like Fallout and the Outer Worlds and all that stuff, I know what I'm getting my hands into. I think like the tutorial is so much, and they even offer it again if you haven't catched it first, which I think listening to the tutorial first, if you've played other RPG games or MMORPGs before in the past, the auto aim is like so in your face that it's almost impossible sometimes to just not to miss a shot. It's like the other con that I have is that the graphics are slightly outdated. This is a 2018 game. It's Bandai Namco, as I was saying. These guys made Dark Souls, which the last Dark Souls game was 2016, and I'm not even joking. Dark Souls 3 looks way more polished in this game, and it's a 2-year difference, kind of, like because this game came out in 2018, Dark Souls 3 came out in 2016, so it's like a 2-year difference. And still, it's a little bit embarrassing that Dark Souls 3 is literally more, I guess, better looking than SAO, which is kind of disappointing. It's a kind of a letdown. This game definitely needs more polish, and I hope with the next entry they have, it's more polish, it's a more graphics game, I guess you could say. It doesn't need to be like extreme like Red Dead Redemption wise, but at least polish the game more. For my conclusion of this game is definitely not for everyone. It's mostly more for the fans, like the fans for this series that absolutely love, adore this series, hardcore fans, and like anime fans in general, to be honest. As an MMORPG, I think it's okay, but sometimes I feel like it needs to be more rewarding. It doesn't have that much rewards as you really think it is. I feel like it needs to be way more rewards than there is. I felt myself wanting to skip the dialogue and move on to more combat-based quests, which you receive literally later on in the story. If you're expecting a more interesting, deep story with really good combat, this game isn't really with you. You're gonna be kind of disappointed. It isn't really a Fallout game. You don't expect an Elder Scrolls rich story game, which you're gonna get a lot of side quests and a lot of main quests, and it's gonna be interesting, or like a Fallout game, as I was saying, or Outer Worlds. It's not that interesting. It's not that deep. The story is not necessarily that rich. It's mostly more for the anime fans and for people who really love the anime series. So yeah, I can only recommend this game solely for the hardcore fans and of the anime that really don't mind the pointless. I mean, not the pointless dialogue. I don't want to say all of it's completely pointless, but the dialogue itself, it's a lot of dialogue, and I felt myself wanting to skip more and more and more of that dialogue. But yeah, overall, if I were to rate this game so far, it would be probably a 6. I think it's okay. It's kind of meh. It's kind of a letdown. I kind of expected a little bit more, because the idea of this game should have been like delayed and had more time to really flesh out the graphics and the story, what's not. And I think that's my opinion. The game, it's not terrible like people say it is. I think it's okay. I was saying in between it. So yeah, what do you guys think in the comments down below? Let me know, and please subscribe, like this video, turn notification bell, share it with your friends. Peace out.